Will you drink to the earth and to the days which have passed upon it? Will you drink to the fullness which was and to friends who have passed on? Will you drink to good company well?
Canada, this is happening. Thousands of truckers are angry because the government is demanding that they're fully vaccinated against the Rona. Rolling across the nation is their so-called Freedom Convoy.
So make no mistake, the border cannot and will not remain closed. I want to remind everyone that politicians don't direct police in a democratic society, but I can assure you that the RCMP is working with provincial and local police departments to enforce the law. Everything is on the table because this unlawful activity has to end, and it will end. Freedom to do what you want with your body. I can understand frustrations with mandates, but mandates are the way to avoid further restrictions.
We're all so frustrated. Nobody knows how this thing happened. We don't know. Mandates are the way to freedom.
So the Prime Minister was at the European Parliament, and while he was up at the podium talking about other things, he decided to bring in the Freedom Convoy, and he blamed the leaders of the convoy for threatening democracy.
And our motto as a country is peace, order, and good government. We saw anti-vaccine and anti-government protests devolve into illegal occupations of our communities and blockades of our borders. The leaders of those convoys were effective in turning citizens with real anxieties against the system best suited to allay those concerns.
It would have been more appropriate for Mr. Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address this House according to Article 144, an article which was specifically designed to debate violations of human rights, democracy and the rule of law, which is clearly the case with Mr. Trudeau. Then again, a Prime Minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime.
Who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy should not be allowed to speak in this House at all. Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence. Thank you.
President Biden and I both agree that for the security of people and the economy, these blockades cannot continue.
Vilka kom överens? Ja, det var vägförvaltningen och mjölkcentralen. Frågar de oss? Nej.
Poštovane kolege, dragi građani, premijeru Trudeau. Sloboda, pravo izbora, pravo na život i zdravlje, pravo na rad za mnoge od nas, to su temeljna ljudska prava za koje su milijuni građana Europe i svijeta položili svoje živote. Kanada, nekada simbol modernog svijeta, je pod vodstvom vaše kvazi-liberalne čizme proteklih mjeseci postala simbol kršenja temeljnih ljudskih prava i građanskih sloboda. Gledali smo kako konjima gaze žene, kako samohranim roditeljima blokirate bankovne račune da ne mogu platiti djeci školovanje.
There's one thing I'll say about that trucker convoy. It's that there. Ah, stop it. It's that. This trucker convoy is... a tiny fringe minority.
Are not going to give that power up.
No.
They're not going to. They're going to find a reason to continue to use that. If they can figure out a way to force you into carrying papers, into carrying something that lets you enter businesses or lets you do this or lets businesses open, as soon as you give politicians power, in any kind of power that didn't exist previously, historically, they don't relinquish that power. They find new reasons to use it.
My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated.
You know, how do I preserve more of my freedom?
Because this is not about freedom or personal choice.
You can't work anymore unless you do what I say. That's essentially what a vaccine passport is.
Right.
You can't do what you want to do unless you do what I want you to do. I mean, Don Lemon was talking about that openly on CNN.
Yeah.
Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to the supermarket. Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to work. Like,
it's so strange that people want to say things like that. Like, that's the thing that blows me away. Why do people want to?
Because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're dumb. They don't understand history. They don't understand
Right.
human beings. They don't understand human nature. They don't understand the history of every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators.
Right.
This guy?
Canada's showing that we are doing things.
Some might feel a certain anger over the idea that he appears to be dismissing some small fringe minorities whilst cherry-picking the ones he does want to get behind.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2+.
In fact, dismissing them reminds me a little bit of this.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
And you know where that got us. So, politicians, even if you think the views of some people are deplorable or unacceptable, maybe try and keep that inside, because some of them have huge...
This is a rally for truckers, but it's also a rally for the 60% of Canadians who say they worry they can't afford food. It's for the 60-year-old small businessman who spent his entire adult life building up an enterprise and watching it wiped out. It's for the depressed 14-year-old who's been locked out of school. It's for the families that can't take it anymore.